All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and not quite good night. We got more hockey to go tonight. Got a double two in a row. You know what I'm saying. So, hey, Damien, you think Bob needs to go back to back? I don't think that's fixing to happen. It might. I don't think so. I don't think so. Hey, Metal, is it the playoffs yet? No, no. I got this shadow. Hold on. Let me turn on this light and see if it gets any better. Hey, Colby, hold on a second. Let me see if that helps. Always moving that light around because this is the same room that I do to. Don't make any difference. I look like a. Let's just wait for it to come back. Let's see. It's not. Come on, let's go. All right, I think it's thinking about coming back now. All right, we should be good. Like this stream or Ekbled spams clown emoji. Yesterday just was. I don't think yesterday went the way any of us expected, right? It's Panthers are like a woman. You never quite know what mood they're going to be in. Hey, Vincent, calling Dr. Jaws. What's up, Vincent? I'm going to have to up my hourly rate because my income does not match the doctor title at this point. No, I'm making a month what a doctor makes in an hour for the most part. Jameson said, is tonight the night our highly paid backup gets his first NHL regular season win in almost 2 years. I mean, we're throwing him out there, right? We're giving him. I find it interesting. His first game, right? We throw him out there on the road without Barkov and Kachuk in his first game in 18 months against a desperate winless team. And tonight, we're throwing him out there against Columbus on the second of a back-to-back, and they're at home for their home opener after the whole Gaudreau thing. So we certainly, I am assuming it's night. We certainly are treating him very interestingly. Let's put it that way. Exactly. Dustin says, going to be emotional night in Columbus tonight. Jacket's going to do a video tribute to Johnny and brother before the game. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know how much gas I'm going to have left in the tank tonight. Although, I mean, I think it's fair to say that of the 4 games we've played, the 2 games, Boston has given us the least effort in return. Like we all know, Ottawa was blocking shots and knocking people around, and Buffalo somewhat to the same extent. And Boston just, I'm not saying they're playing bad, but they're just not. They have not been the challenge so far that I thought they would be, compared to the other 2 teams. Spaceman says, I felt a little bad for Raven, but at least he's an NBA champ. There's that. Raven will be okay. Raven will be all right. Dustin says, did I see the Jackets brought Johnny's dad in for the morning skate with the team? Very class. Yeah, that's going to be, it's going to almost be like you feel bad beating them, right? A little bit. Nick says, he's talking about Spencer Knight. Says he had to get that first game out of the way, though, with the nerves and the focus. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And then what do we got? Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday. So I would think after this game, you might see Bob for a solid 4 or 5 in a row. Yeah, exactly. Colin says Boston cares too much about the extra stuff than actually playing hockey. Honestly, the Panthers and Bruins right now are like the Dolphins and Bills. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It doesn't matter who's out, who's in, the names change. It doesn't matter. The Dolphins are going to lose to the Bills, and the Bruins are going to lose to the Panthers. And it's in the same exact fashion. The same exact. I mean, we even took their guy in Greer, and now he's triggering them. I mean, it was a penalty. Let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. Greer plastered Pasta from behind. The arm should have been up, and everything that happened after that is because the refs didn't make that call. Is what it is, right? Colby says, did I see the Sabres fan who was spewing nonsense in my comments? No. Was that on the, hold on a second. Was that on the Sabres video? Hold on. I didn't get a chance. This ought to be good. I didn't, are you talking about the recap against the Sabres? Let's see. This should be good. Hold on. Great. All right. I didn't get to these comments. No, I had gotten to them. In the beginning. Says, what a beautiful pass by Boquist to Tuck. Tape to tape like it should be. Let's see. If there was it only that guy? Sabres guy 87. He's quoting me. He says, looks like you went to a yard sale and grabbed 12 guys and said you were a hockey team, and that's how the team was created and played for the last 28 years prior to the last 2 years. I mean, let him have his fun. Yeah, Colby, I see your response. Let him have his fun, right? Let him have his fun. That'll be. Was that the only one? Was it just that? I had seen he made the other comp. Yeah. Yeah. So let him have his fun. Let him have it. That's okay. Right? That's all right. Am I sure that wasn't Trey? Vincent says, in a way, it's not a bad thing that Tkachuk is missing this game. Their job today is to focus on the game instead of game of hockey. That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that, Vincent. I hadn't even thought about that at all. That's a really good point. Huh. Very interesting. No, I wasn't lying, Dustin. It definitely was. Yeah, let them have their fun, right? Yeah, a Sabres fan talking shit. That's rich. Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, Dead or Alive Bon Jovi reference in the Flying Fluffy stream. Well, that's acceptable because we did the song a couple years ago, Panthers or Die, right? So a Bon Jovi reference on this channel is totally acceptable. Good question, Nick. Prediction on when Mackey will get his first. It's coming. I don't want to keep pounding this same point, but dump the puck in and go get it, Mackey. You're not going. I'm worried he's going to try to skate around the wrong dude. And the dude is just going to smush him up against the boards and he's going to hurt him. Just dump the puck in. Dump the puck in. Go get it. Send it back out. Let Reinhardt get the puck or whoever. Let them take a shot. The rebound. Mackey, you're there by the net. Put the puck in the net, and there's your first goal. That's what he needs to do. Oh, to do. All right, man. It says, I think Mackey needs to go down to the AHL when Nosek comes back and put Boquist on the third line. If he doesn't score and we're completely healthy, I don't know if he'll go back down to the AHL, but Paul might do that. I like Jesper Boquist. Let's just start there. I absolutely. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. Much appreciated. I like Jesper for sure. And he definitely can slide up and down the lineup and not hurt us. Did you see Maurice had Samoskevich on the power play yesterday, though? So that don't exactly strike me as Paul doesn't have confidence in the kid. You know what I mean? And who knows what Nosek is. I mean, if Samoskevich can start scoring, and when we're healthy, if Samoskevich starts scoring and Boquist is looking good on that fourth line, and maybe Nosek, who struggles to get his job back. James says, when Nosek comes back, I'd rather Gadgel be our 13th forward. Our fourth line should be Greer, Boquist, Nosek. Keep Samoskevich in the third line. That's another option. That's another option. I think, I believe, I feel, remember the guy who shall not be named, and Owen Tippett? And even though he wasn't quite, he was just showing flashes, but he wasn't really scoring a lot. We kept him and kept giving him chances and kept giving him chances. I think that we are going to do the same thing with Samoskevich, only this time we're not going to trade him before he becomes a 20-goal scorer. So maybe we've learned that lesson there, right? But it could happen, but I have a feeling either Nosek, Gadjevich, those will be the odd men out on any given night. But we do need to get healthy that way because Giles is not ready. Giles is not ready. I applaud the effort, but he's a year away, in my opinion. So it says, also, since we're on the topic, I love how Samoskevich tries to carry the puck into the zone instead of dumping it in. It's something different. Other teams don't expect it until they do. Well, yeah, he needs to put on about 10, 15 pounds of solid muscle before he can really get away with that. Either that or he needs to get a lot faster. Yeah, Dustin says Greer is the new cat muscle. Absolutely. I love that dude. He's ready to fight, right? I mean, he's ready to fight. I mean, Lomberg, I love Lomberg. I'm not disparaging Lomberg, but Lomberg would kind of fight on occasion. Greer seems to just be out there looking like, come on, let's go. Let's do this now, right? Absolutely love him. Vincent says there's something to be said about intermittent scoring touch in home-raised players. Yes. Just let him develop, and we'll be fine. So I'm more, I wouldn't say the word concerned, but if we're going to give up any capital, any assets at the trade deadline, I think it'll be for a top 4 defenseman. Especially, like I said, if we have not extended Ekblad at that point, we might look for an Ekblad replacement. Not saying we'd get rid of him at the trade deadline, but, guys that are not normally available become available at that point. So that wouldn't surprise me either. Sunshine says Samoskevich is a Duclair kind of player. You don't like his defense? Is that a knock on his defense? I thought he's okay. Man, it says, is Greer an upgrade over Lomberg? How old is Greer? I mean, Lomberg's 30. How old is Greer? Let's see. AJ Greer he's 27, so he's a few years younger. He seems to be a little bit faster than Lomberg. Yeah, Greer's a few years younger, right? Yeah. And he's got a couple of inches on him too. Okay. Well, I don't want to disparage Lomberg because that leaves a sour taste in my mouth, but we'll just say that I think Zito did really well. We'll just put it that way. Yeah, the dude, Lomberg had the hair. I mean, every time he'd fight, he'd take his hat off and his helmet off and be going with the flow. So, okay, Sunshine says, not his defense, but I think he's going to be more puck fancy than a board checker. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying. Now, the other thing I'll say in his defense, the times that it seems like he jumps up on the play a little quicker than everybody else. Maybe that's his youth. That's fine. Or maybe he's just not back checking as much. But the few times that he has tried to go around the defenseman and gotten squished, when I look at the play behind him, it doesn't look like there's anybody like coming close. Like it's almost like at that point he could dump it and go get it, but there's nobody that's close enough that looks like is right behind him to even get to the puck after if he dishes it out. Rinketic says, "Hi, I love Spencer, but can he consider every Fantilli and Ken Johnson shot tonight? Could we just have a good game tonight?" Yeah, Vincent says this is the weakest defensive situation we've had in 3 years. I want to see Megna for a game. I had no problem with that. I got no problem with throwing him out there at some point. And to answer the next question, Nick says, "How have you felt about Schmidt? It was nice to see him stand up for one of our guys yesterday." Schmidt has just got that vibe that you want to root for the guy. You know what I mean? Like, I watched his press conference when he first came in, the whole thing. He's very, very likable guy. So I don't have anything overly great to say about his play. I don't have anything overly bad to say about his play. All I can say is the first couple of months that Mark Stahl was here, we bitched and complained about him, and then he turned into a pretty solid defenseman for us at the end there. So Schmidt's going to get his chances, but when Boqvist and Schmidt, between Boqvist, Schmidt, and Ekblad, the one-on-one skills that they have is it's a little dicey. They're not OEL or Brandon Montour. That is for sure. Sybil says, "Just do my trade. Samoskevich in the first for Uyghur." No. We'll do Kai Schwint and a fourth for Uyghur. That's the best I'm willing to do. All right. That's the best. That's the best I'm willing to do. Rinketic says, "Is this the end of Florida in some cases because the gap quality is so big?" No. New guys getting used to the system. Number one. I think Zito thought Schmidt was going to come in and be like OEL last year, where it was just like, remember when we were watching OEL at the beginning of the season last year, we were like, hey, don't even move Ekblad up top. Just leave it alone. Right? Trey says, "Our issue is that we have too many Uyghurs." Right? Yeah, good job, Metal. Metal says, "We'll do that trade with 3 seconds left in the season." Rinketic says, "Question, would I rather have a righty like Rasmus Anderson or a lefty like Provorov?" I think we only have one right-handed defenseman. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong there. It's either they're all righties or they're all lefties except for one. So whichever way we don't have, I would want some balance put there. Yeah, Schmidt's definitely not a guy on it. Yeah, not a guy on attacking. Yeah. What was that? Yeah, Sean, Knight needs to. I think Knight and Samoskevich are going to get a year. They're going to get a year to show what they can do. If you're Zito and you're looking and you're reading the tea leaves of everything, there's so many, like any other year. The whole salary thing is such a Jenga pile. And if Spencer Knight plays well and looks like he's going to be the heir apparent to Bob, then maybe you can tell Ekblad to skedaddle because you're not so worried about having to go pay well, you're going to have to pay Spencer Knight anyway. I wouldn't want Bill Zito's job. You're going to have to pay Spencer Knight anyway because Spencer Knight and Bob's contract run out at the same time. And let's just say that the next 2 years, Bob and Knight are Swayman and Olmark. Okay, let's just say that happens and Olmark is Bob and then Bob goes off into the sunset Well, now Spencer needs a contract too. And if Knight for the next 2 years does what Swayman did the previous 2 years backing up Olmark, and Swayman just got 8.25, what's Knight going to get? It's a massive, massive Jenga pile. Silla says, I'm sure we can pick up Deanna. Poor Denisenko. I feel bad for the kid. Denisenko, I will give him credit for this. Game 5 against Vegas, he was the only one that had any legs. I will give him credit. That poor kid was skating up and down the ice trying to do it all by himself. Didn't work. But you could tell that there was such a huge disparity in his energy level and the rest of the team in that game. Kenneth says, don't pull a Boston. Bob retires and not sign. Well, yeah. And that's why Spencer's going to get every opportunity he's going to get, this year and into next year, because that's a big decision. That's a big decision Zito has to make. Colin says, just tell Ekblad to retire. It makes everything easier, right? Hey, Amanda, thank you. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. He says, I feel like the Panthers would give Bob a 2-year contract after next season. I honestly wouldn't be against that. I mean, I've said that before, that maybe he's going to want to extend. Don't know, though, right? Like, he's got the baby at home, and, if we win 2 cups, if we win 3 cups, he may want to say, okay, I win 3 cups, goodbye. He might. We don't know. At that age, the goalies, they stay at a certain level, like where he's at, until they're just not. And it's usually their body to start getting injuries and stuff like that. So again, that's why it's important Spencer Knight can play well, because that way we're not wearing out Bob. There's a big difference between playing him 3 games in a row versus 5. You get later on in the season, Bob's got a sore knee, you don't have to rush him back out there. Jessica chucking around says, I think we are putting a lot of faith in Knight. What's the option? I mean, we pay, you know what I mean? When we gave Knight that contract, Bob was playing like crap, and it looked like Knight was going to be quite possibly the guy pretty soon. So you paid him, and we've already made the decision to deal with the cap problems that his contract creates. And so from that perspective, I agree with Zito saying that's the decision we made. We're going to see that out and see how it goes. And winning a cup helps, right? We win the cup. That allows us to, it allows us that leeway to give him the proper opportunity. Yeah, no, exactly. James says we paid Knight before his OCD problem. Right. Trey says, Nyquist, I haven't seen his stuff come up in my feed in a long time. Says, Nyquist has a way too early free agency video up, and he seems to think Ekblad will get his money, and whether or not that's here or elsewhere. All I know with the Panther free agents is they continue to surprise me. Reinhardt, I think we all kind of hoped that's what was going to go on. For Hagee just taking 7 now instead of playing another year under a contract year, that's a dude that just wants to stay, right? Okay. So if somebody wants to look at Aaron Ekblad and give him an 8x8 or something like that, I love you, kid, but no, that cannot be us. That can't be us. Dustin says, I see a scenario next year if Knight plays like a true main goalie and Bob takes a back seat. I think what they're probably hoping for is what Swayman and Olmark did. Maybe not every other game like that, but I would think that what they would hope for is maybe like 3 for Bob, 2 for Knight, 3 for, you know what I mean? I mean, that's wishful thinking. It never works out that way. I don't think they want to do. I know Swayman and Omar, they were doing like every other night for a while, right? Chucky says Yanda money, Eki money, Bobby money, and Knight money. The cap is going up, so we're going to have a serious one on cash to spend on more D and a solid goalie. I told y'all my idea. I know it's never going to happen, but if the Rangers don't want to pay Shesterkin his $12 million, Ekblad, Knight, and a first, and give him someone else. Give him some other prospect, maybe Kai Schwint. So Ekblad, Knight, a first, and Kai Schwint for Shesterkin. You pay Shesterkin his 12. He spends 1 year splitting time with Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky retires off into the sunset. And the $12 million we're giving Shesterkin is the same $12 million we're giving Ekblad and Knight right now. We're good. Yeah, I know it ain't going to happen. Maybe it could happen if the Rangers were in the Western Conference, right? Maybe if the Rangers were in the Western Conference, they might consider that. It's a shame because the money works perfectly. Yeah, but metal, it would only be for, I know. But think about it. It would only be for the 1 year. You know what I mean? And we're already spending that money. And it's only actually, we're already paying 14.5 now, right? So it's only 8 more than we're paying right now. Yeah, between Bob and Eki, that's 17.5, right? It would only be for the 1 year. And you don't need to go get a backup goaltender. It's the only thing you need at that point. If only we had a GM that could find good players on cheap contracts and plug them in on defense and have it work. If only we had a GM that could do that, that trade might work. Yeah, right. Can you imagine Bobrovsky and Shesterkin? Yeah. The only question would be who's the playoff goalie, right? They'd have to fight it out. They'd have to do like a PlayStation tournament to see who's the playoff goalie. For the new viewers who are going to watch this replay, I'm only half joking. Because I don't think I don't think the Rangers are going to do that trade. But if we could find a way to move Knight, like if Shesterkin, if it goes bad between Shesterkin and the Rangers, and we could find a way to move on from Knight and Ekblad, and that's $12 million, and we just give, Igor a call, be like, $12 million. I mean, you got to play behind Bob for 1 year, but you got to have the conversation with Bob and be like, 1 more year and then you retire, right? Just saying, stranger things have happened. Yeah, see who's the goalie is hot at the right time. Connor says Bolt's defense is finally looking solid. Did I watch the Carolina game? I saw the highlights. Vasilevsky looked good. I'll say that. Vasilevsky looked like he was in midseason form. That's for sure. Dustin says, Jaws, we can't get rid of Knight. I just bought his jersey. Well, crap. Well, hey, the only jerseys I have are ex-players as well. I got Trocheck and I got Uyghur, and then I got the jersey with no name. So, like I said, for Christmas, I'm telling Kyle and family that's what I'm getting is the reverse retro Forsling jersey. Yeah. Damien says you won't want Vazzy in 3 or 4 years down the road. That's true. I said the Rangers won't let Shesterkin leave. Probably, right? I'm just curious. I mean, the dude threw down 11. It's like how far away are they, right? Like if you're the Rangers and he turns down 11, I mean, are you going to let it become the Swayman situation? I mean, Swayman holding out all that for $250,000, right? Do you really need that in the New York marketplace if you're the Rangers? Just 11. No, 11.5. Yes. Okay, done. Right. And just get it done. But that's a lot of money. I could also see the Rangers' point of kind of wanting to wait until the bump in the salary cap is a guaranteed official thing. That's a lot of money, right? 11. and especially in New York. But no, I don't really think that would happen. But if, when you went to bed that night, were you going to bed thinking, what would be a good idea is trading Huberdeau and Uyghur for Kachuk? Nobody was thinking, there was one dude that had thought about that, but I was high on drugs at that point. So I can only take so much credit. Oh, I don't know if it makes it better or worse at that point than what was in my system. Damien says Vasilevsky's a free agent in 2028. You want to sign? That's a good option. What's he going to be? I think, what's he, 31? Is he 30 or 31 right now? No, there's no replacement for Barkov and Kachuk. That's our cup window is Barkov and Kachuk, right? That's our cup window, which generally speaking should be another solid this year and 2 more years after that, you would think, before, I don't want to say the wheels are going to fall off, but before we kind of turn into Tampa a little bit, right? Depending on the goaltending situation. He'd be like 35 or 36. What if we re-sign Tippett? I mean, that could happen, right? Lundell and Tippett. Lundell, Tippett, and Uyghur. Yeah, that'll be the second one. That'll be the second cup window. Lundell was good last night. He was really good in the face-off circle, and we needed him to be, man. You can't, you lose last night. Now you're 1-3 going into Columbus tonight. You're going to be down on yourselves. At least this way now we have an opportunity where we could get out of this. If you would have told me Barkov and Kachuk would have been gone and we'd still be 3-2, I would have said, okay, we'll take it. Drugs made Jaws. Last night, what eyes was that? Is that question for me or not? James says, looking at the projected lineup, it looks like Spencer won't be starting tonight. Going to run Bob out there again, huh? That's so. I mean, I know that they usually will play Bob because he played for Columbus. And that would also explain why we gave Spencer Knight that other game. That would also explain why we gave Spencer Knight the other game. Huh. Just chucking around. Should we grab Lorentz again? Isn't he on the Leafs, right? Oh, you're referring to the game being a day game. Yeah, what did I say last night? It's the same thing. Hey, look, here, it's night for me, eyes, because by the time I'm done, by the time I post the recap, it's dusk outside. So it's, to me, in my brain, it's still night. You know what I mean? Because it gets, hey, Kyle. Hold on a second. Hey, Kyle, come here for a second. I got important news. You're gonna want to hear this. There was everything is fine. It wasn't your sister, but there was a long story short. There was a massive car accident. She couldn't make it to the airport, so your mother had to move the flight. So she's still getting in today, but she won't be here at the house until Friday. And then we got to talk about the rest of it afterwards. But you don't have to worry about getting everything ready today because she will not be here today.
Okay, that's
it made my day a lot easier too. Yeah. Okay. So all right, I'll give it back. All right. Okay. Say goodbye.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, exactly. What we need is Mark Pesic. Yeah, no doubt. Belinskis wasn't bad. It was weird though. Belinskis played wing for those who didn't understand yesterday afternoon, I should say. And he did the same move every time he got the puck. He just skated in over the blue line, dumped it in, and just kind of skated back like a defenseman anyway. So the fact that the Bruins' fourth line scored 3 goals yesterday doesn't exactly surprise me. Oh, my God. Kachuk says, hear me out. Brad Marchand is up for an extension. Can you only imagine? Dustin says, when can the Cats go get Brady Kachuk? I think we did that. I think we looked at that. Let me see. What's his contract? God, he's only 25. He signed a 7-year deal. No, he's signed. He's signed for a while. Let me look at this. Where does it end? Contract details. His extension was from 21 to 27. So we got several years. We got several years before that can happen. James says, I think we'd almost rather have Adam Boquist as the forward instead of Belinskas. Actually, yeah. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Yeah. We want McCarr, geez. Dustin says, after watching the Amazon documentary, Brady wants to be here. You think? I mean, that would have to be. We'd have to. I mean, what was the deal? How much? What's his cap hit? His cap hit's 8.2. So, again, you'd have to move Ekblad and a player. You'd have to move Ekblad. And then where's Brady going to go? That's the other thing. We're going to do let Bennett go and move things around, right? That's the only way you could do it. I mean, I know we're just talking trash now, but if you made a trade and then you move guys around. Yeah, Spencer Knight. I mean, it was his first game in 18 months. Brandon, you're not wrong. But apparently it doesn't look like, I don't know if he's going to go tonight or not. Yeah, can you imagine Brady Barkov with Matthew? Bennett, Kachuk. Yeah. Yeah. Barkov, Swaggy, Reinhardt, Bennett, Kachuk. Lundell, Lusterine, and Erod. Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait. Swaggy, Barkov, Reinhardt, Bennett, Kachuk. Wait, where's Swaggy, Barkov, Reinhardt, Bennett, Kachuk, Lundell, Lusterine, and Erod. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'm game. But how are we going to afford that? How are you going to afford that? That's you know what I mean? If you lose Ekblad 7.5, you still got to lose another player. You still got to lose another player to fit. I mean, we don't even have like the extra 700,000. I mean, I guess we could finagle it somehow. Just chucking around says LTIR. Let's do it. Metals. Yeah, that's Zito's problem. Yeah, I mean, it would work, but I mean, we don't have enough money for the team we have right now. So if you actually wanted to do it, Ekblad 7.5, Ottawa would have to retain salary. First off, you have to send Ekblad somewhere else. Ottawa's not going to want Ekblad. And they're certainly not going to trade us. And that's the other thing. Both of these trades that we'd love to make, these teams aren't helping us. Rangers and Senators aren't sending us their best player. It'd be nice. I mean, just kind of reload the Stanley Cup window there with Igor Shesterkin and Brady Kachuk. Yeah, you'd think they hate us now. Kenneth says trading Ekblad leaves another hole on D. Just play with 4 forward. Right. Yeah, that's true. I says, I fear we will lose Bennett after this year. I think he would have been signed by now, like Swaggy was if we were signing him. Let's put it this way. I think Verhaeghe is a unique player that was a separate situation. But now when you got Bennett, Ekblad, and Spencer Knight and Sam Iskevich, what happens there with one affects them all. If Sam Iskevich turns out to be good to go, we don't have to worry about that money for a little bit. Okay? And then you got Bennett, Ekblad, Spencer Knight. Spencer Knight. Are we paying him? Are we moving him? What are we doing? What are we doing with Ekblad? Is Ekblad going to take a pay cut? Is somebody else going to be willing to give him $8 million? So all that stuff affects what we can do with Sam Bennett, unless Zito's just going to offer him 6 and Bennett's going to take it. I mean, if Reinhardt's worth 8.6 and Verhaeghe's only worth 7, what's Sam Bennett worth? 6.5, 6 3/4. Completely different players. But it's we're up against that cap so hard. Thank you, Damien. He says official Bob is starting tonight. Huh. Okay. Yeah, the public sub boosters option. Frank says we might buy out Bob next year. What? And we don't save as much. It wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be worth it. The money that we would gain would not buy us anything. His contract is a beast. Yeah, that's what Metal is saying. Yeah, it wouldn't be worth it. We would not be able to, replace him. And certainly, I mean, I don't think you're going to count on Spencer Knight to be the replacement, right? Zach says Adam Boquist hat trick watch tonight against his former squad. Well, let's just hope it's 3 goals that he scores on the other team and not 3 that he allows, right? They've been okay. It's not the same, right? We can appreciate our guys and we can be hopeful that they are going to be better, while at the same time recognizing that neither one of these cats reminds us of how OEL came in here last year and made us forget all about Aaron Ekblad, right? Both things can be true. Kenny says, my app says Merzlikins confirmed nothing on the Florida side yet. I guess you guys are getting the Bob thing off of Twitter. I mean, it would make some sense because why else give Spencer? Remember, I asked when we gave him that game, why give him that game when we got this back-to-back if he was going to get another game? So that would kind of make sense. And plus, I always forget that Bob used to play for Columbus, and they always start him against Columbus. So I think the reason why Spencer got that game is because they planned on playing Bob back-to-back. That would kind of make some sense. Metal says Ekblad for Larson and Stolars. I like it. Damien says, who would I rather have for us when Bob retires and we traded Knight? Igor. Yeah. We did that earlier in the stream. We already traded we traded Ekblad and Spencer Knight we traded Ekblad, Knight, a first, and Kai Schwint to the Rangers for Shesterkin. Give it 3 days. It takes 3 days from the time I say it to the time it actually happened. Oh, what's today? Today's Tuesday, right? Wednesday, Thursday. That's how it went. No, last time I said it on a Wednesday and it happened on a Friday. So it's actually only 2 days. So Thursday night, the news should break. Ekblad, Knight, a first, and Kai Schwint for Shesterkin. Jeez. I know it will never happen, but I wish there was I wish we could fast forward, like watch life as a movie, right? Like a movie and just choose the option. Remember those books when you were a kid and it was like a storybook and you could choose the option and depending on what you chose, you went to a certain page and the story changed. I just want to watch that movie for a day where that trade actually happens. That would be that. You think they hate us now? Nick, right? Yeah, to choose your own adventure, eyes. Yeah, yeah. Zach says Giles will score his first NHL goal tonight. I guess we're just going to keep going 11-7, right? I mean, it worked last night, kind of. Kenneth says Rangers will accept that trade but want Zito instead of the first. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Meadow says, what trade would I make to restock our draft capital for this year? We don't have picks in rounds 1 through 3 for 2025. What do we have? I mean, if we were not trying to repeat, you could move Ekblad for a 1 at the deadline, right? I mean, that's what else? I mean, you could move again. If we were not trying to repeat, you could move Bennett. I don't know if you're going to get a 1 for him. You might get a couple of 2s. Isn't that what we gave up for Bennett? Was a couple of 2s, but he's a little bit older now. So I guess if we weren't trying to repeat, you can move Ekblad and Bennett and get a 1 and a couple of 2s. But I don't, past that, I don't know what we could do right now. Sachin doesn't seem, I don't know, what kind of value would you get out of trading any of your prospects, Yeah, exactly. I says that's okay. If we ever lose Zito, just hire Joss to be GM. Yeah, we do have a first and 26. What was? Oh yeah, Zach says my non-apology to Bruins fans yesterday. We kept having in stitches. I appreciate that, Zach. I was just trying to have fun with them because I like to watch low-quality Bruins fan, right? So when the game is going on, I'm thinking about what him and the people in the comments and his videos are going to say. And so when that whole thing went down, and it kind of should have been a penalty against Greer, but it's like, yeah, man, yeah, we're getting the calls. I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad. You know how many years we were told, well, get better and you'll get the calls. Get better and you'll get the calls. Well, guess what? Sons of bitches, we're better and now we're getting the calls. I'm not going to apologize for it. But low quality, he's a good guy. He took it. He didn't take from me, but he took the game. He's like, look, the Panthers have our number, and it's kind of that way. But it's regular season, so it did us good. We needed the win. We needed to get that win. That's for sure. Kenneth. Trey says we don't need draft capital. We're contenders, as the LA Rams said. F them picks. Yeah. No, we're good right now. It's going to be interesting in about 6 years, though. 6 years from now, it could be very interesting because then you're dealing with Barkov, Kachuk, Bennett, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, all in their mid-30s, 34, 36, right? And they all got contracts. So enjoy this now, Panther fans. Absolutely enjoy this now because by 2030, if the world is not devolved into an alien landscape, we might have cap issues. We might have some issues in 6 years with who do you keep, who do you buy out, and all of that. Trey says, and we're talking about getting a call 99% of the time. Opposing fans say we get a call. The reality is the refs didn't fall for their guys' dive. Shout out to Edmonton. There's part of that. There's part to that. All of that set aside, Sam Reinhart needs to keep his head up. Okay. I know that Pasta kind of blindsided him, but Reinhart, for a second, I think he forgot he was on the ice. He was just kind of skating around. He just was like, okay, I don't even have the puck. I'm just going to skate over in this general direction doing nothing. And Pasta just blasted him. And then Reinhart got the power play goal. Scientist wants to know if I think we'll be keeping Bennett after this season. We've gone into that quite some bit. I hope so. I hope the choice there is going to be a choice. I think between Bennett and Ekblad, unless Ekblad's going to take like $3-4 million. But I hope we do keep him. I hope we do. He looks, but he does look motivated, right? Like Verhage opted out of playing for the contract. You know what I mean? He said, "I'll sign now. I don't care. I want to stay." Bennett seems to be very motivated, and that's fine. That's good. Let him play for the contract. But that could also be a sign that he wants something closer to 8 instead of 6.5. Frank says in 6 years, the cap will probably be 120 million. Players making 7 million is going to be easier to absorb. That is a good point, Frank. That Frank's got a good point there. That is a good point. Yeah. All right. So Nick says or asks, do I think we extend Maurice or does he retire soon? That's a good question because he kind of thought he was retired. I believe he's going to want to stick around with this core as long as we are legitimate Stanley Cup contenders. So I don't know what's on his contract, but I would expect him to stick around until the wheels start to fall off. And then he might say, okay, right? You know, at some point we're going to have a team full of 34-year-olds and he might not be able to run the same camp. You know what I mean? So, but I would expect, I don't know when his contract is up, but I would expect him to want to stick around. And I mean, he waited all this time, right? He coached all these years to be in this position now where he really, you know, he won the cup and they got real chance to win more. So I don't think he's leaving anytime soon. Vincent says 6x6. Trey says 4x6. So we kind of agree on this on the 6 part though, right? We kind of agree on the 6 part. That sounds about right. Yeah. I mean, look, if he can get how old is he? I mean, 6x6. Let's just cut it in half and make it 5x6. We'll just do 5x6. That'd be good. We'd be good to go there. Craig. Oh my God, Craig. I was wondering what the hell was he trying to say? I says I'd give him 6.9 and then they could say nice, right? Metal says by the end of November last year, we were 14-7-2. I think we were roughly the same by then. We're in good shape. Yeah, considering without Barkov and Kachuk, probably. Trey, he makes 5 now, right? Yeah. Well, no, I mean 5 years. I mean 5 instead of 4 years, 6 million, or 6 years, 6 million. I'm saying 5 years, 6 million. I'm just saying split the difference. I think we all kind of agree on the 6. Yeah, but just 5 years, something like that. All right, I think that's gonna do it for today. I gotta go do. Today is Monday in the eBay world because there was no pack and ship yesterday, so I gotta go do that. The good news is I will be on the stream tonight, and everything will be as it should be. Because my daughter, as you heard, wasn't able to get in, and she won't be here till Friday, so that buys us some extra time here at the house. So. We will see you 1/2 hour before game time tonight. Frank says, I think we might let Columbus win. Yeah. Let's get a point. Huh? I think Columbus, I hate to put it this way, but we won the cup. The least we could do is let them have the home game with the Gaudreau thing. Get a point. Get it to overtime. Let them score in overtime and they happy, joy, and have their fun. I think that seems right. Nothing that seems right. All right, everybody. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for all the super chats. We'll see you 1/2 hour before the game tonight.